So a little bit more than what we've had so far today. This is no longer a best of 3, but a best of 5 grand finals for this week's OlimoLeague. This has got to be the single most stacked OlimoLeague we've had to date, but also, and more importantly, the best viewership we've had too. I think we've been sustaining about, like, about 2,000 viewers, 1,500-ish for most OlimoLeagues. But guys, we've shattered that today with about 4,000 going here into the finals. So once again, if you guys are tuning in, thank you so much. But spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, starting off this best of 5 on a map he just finished beating another Zerg player senseless on. It's the Blue Terran player Fantasy.
Hopefully he was paying attention to that last series. But on the upper right, as the Red Zerg, it's Samsung Galaxy's Armani.
Yeah, it's worth noting Armani versus Yangwa did end significantly sooner than True versus Fantasy. So had Armani taken like 5 minutes to go watch the stream, as quite frankly I think he should have, he may have seen the shenanigans that were in tow. But the thing for Fantasy is, like, while that tank move looks really OP and he just did a lot of damage with it, you guys have to understand, a move like that snowballs quickly. It's something that if shut down early on, just you can't repeat. Like, yes, there's a lot of defensive areas and offensive abusive terrain you can take on this map, but Armani's concerned about a 2-rax.
Well, yeah, Fantasy's not exactly shy about 2-raxing usually.
No, the best Terran players aren't. I mean, look at Maru, for example.
Well, you know, that kid,
I think
even if you...
we've cast more 2-raxes out of him than normal games.
Probably. But even if you scout him 2-raxing, you might still not be able to defend it.
Yeah. Well, nothing to reveal, nothing scouted for his troubles. I'm a little shocked he didn't actually go full bore with the drone scout. I thought he would have dedicated just to, it's like halfway across the map. You might as well just go check what the Reaper timing is, but nope, just has to fall back. And it is going to be a Reaper opener here out of Fantasy, by the way, so nothing quite so crazy as, like, early 6 raxes or something dumb.
Hey, now, I remember seeing someone do that build on Entombed Valley.
Man, 5 racks on Entombed Valley, that was the bomb diggity back in the day.
Oh, maybe it was you. I was cast now. I'm just kidding.
I'm cheesy, but I wasn't that good to pull that off back then. I don't think I hit my masters until like close to the end of Wings of Liberty. I know I had it like 1 season of HOTS and like 1 season of Wings of Liberty. I don't remember if they're consecutive or not. So long ago. I don't know how to play this game. I'm just a Silver League nerd.
Womp womp.
Oh, wow. Alright, so Fantasy gonna miss scout here to start, but hardly the biggest deal in the world. Small nod and shout out to, who is this? Literally, oh no, today. Today? Why is this not refreshing for today? What? Okay, so we just got a donation, but my bot's like says we didn't, so I'll have to go check this out afterwards. Sorry, we just got a donation, and whoever did, I love you. I'll have to check it out in a moment, though, because I'll have to go through Gmail for it. But the Reaper is what I want to keep an eye on right now, see just how much it sees and how much damage it does. Because it's a fairly important part of the game to know this. You just see the gas, so he knows it's going to be that 6-minute speed timing, most likely.
Following up with the factory. Marines on the way as well. Another gas, too. And that gas means that you will be getting a starport. Although whether it's for Banshees, Viking, or Medivacs is still up in the air. As he's still committing to Marines, though, I gotta imagine it's either the Marine drop or it's just the tank drop again. It's all about, like, if he swaps a factory with the reactor, that's what he does. So.
Yeah. I mean, Hellions are such a standard part of this, whether it's for cleaning up creep or fighting in the early game or even just diving for those drone kills. You're going to see them at some point, but... okay,
well, we didn't see any Hellions whatsoever last game.
That is true, but that's also not standard.
Yeah, and I was simply wondering if he's going to do that again, but with the Hellions, this is going to be the drop that we saw on, say, Foxtrot.
Yeah. So I have to go look this up, sorry. Ooh, what is this? Lag, are you seeing this FPS drops? What is this?
Nope, it's all you, man.
Is it actually? What's going on here? Oh my god, I'm getting like 15 spikes per minute. What's happening?
I'm not getting anything. I don't know, man.
I didn't even tab. I went on my phone to look up my Gmail. What is this?
Well, speaking of what is this, I guess, we have 2 Woodamons on the way from Fantasy. Stop producing Hellions.
This is straight up unwatchable. Hang on, guys. I'm trying to see if I can end task something, or I don't know what's causing this.
Just listen to the sound of my voice.
It's just like a black screen now? Oh my goodness. Yo, this is getting worse and worse. Oh, that fixed it though. Okay, so when I went to like end task it, I guess that fixed it. But I didn't have to end task it, so it's all good now. Cool. Panic averted. Anyways.
Am I right?
Hang on, I want to get this out of the way because like this is like where all the Maybe it's the karma for not giving the shout out properly, but Handy Quacks Rule 2, $20 donation. It says, love the hashtag passion, great cast, keep it up. Bitch. Thanks, dude. Sorry for that. I have no idea what just caused that, guys, but it's fixed. So we'll move on past it.
Back to the fact that Fantasy got Widow Mines instead of 6 Hellions. Arp, arp, arp. You got 4 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines. So this means that the Widow Mines, of course, they can deal a lot of damage. You have Queens usually guarding your drone line, but they cannot kill the Widow Mine before it burrows. Here we go. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's not gonna get a whole lot done. Oh, maybe it is!
No. Stacks up there for a moment. Only gets about 2 kills. So good control of Armani to split for this, but...
You can save this Widow Mines too. I mean, very easily without the Spore Crawler being up.
Oh my god, it's doing it again. What is happening? Okay, we're just gonna have to work with this, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's causing this, but there's nothing I can do to really fix this. I thought it was fixed.
Well, he attacks them the main again. Those Widow Mines are going to rearm, and while the Spore Crawler did finish, he's got to target them down. That's exactly what he does. Ooh, that was close. So, okay, that Widow Mine drop not really worth it so far. The Hellions didn't get as much damage as they could have. You know, the Spine Crawler was there for Armani. Good defense. Very much better.
I don't know what's going on. I'm still getting like 22 spikes per minute, but the FPS is smoothed out. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and safely say I need to restart my StarCraft plan after this, because I'm getting no frames dropped on stream. Our audio connection isn't being interrupted. I don't know what to tell you guys, and I'm so sorry because I'm a big stickler for production, and I don't like whatever is happening here.
Well, Viking is searching around for Overlords to clear up. For his Fantasy, he abused the tanks, but he also abused just dropping everywhere against someone who didn't have a Spire. Armani, having not taken a lot of damage, will have a decently timed Spire for sure. Fantasy will not be able to do nearly as much as he did against True.
Sorry, I'm asking in chat if anyone's got a genius solution to this. You're gonna have to pretty much solo cast this. Like, this is just randomly 2 FPS. I can't keep up with anything that's going on here.
Oh, alright.
So
then.
ghetto
That's
radio
cool.
cast, I guess? It'll be like a slideshow.
Yeah, a slideshow. And here we have Fantasy dropping the Widow Mines, and here we have them doing no damage. It's like a vacation trip. Okay, so this Viking does get on the Overlord, and it will in fact live. Fantasy got a 3rd. It is going into Widow Mines, is the standard. Ling gets in here. What the? Not sure what it was really gonna scout. I guess technically he didn't know if it was gonna be mech. That's like a big, like, you know. Would he really? Maybe not. Medevacs are loaded up. They're going for a double drop straight into the main. It looks like the Vikings there, seeing there's nothing there to stop it. All of the Spore Crawlers reposition. Queens are trying to reposition as well, trying to get the Viking, but they really need to get these Medevacs. No, looks like Armani's going to be in position. There aren't any Banelings right here, so the Marines can trade pretty well against the Lings. So they're just going to take out the Spore Crawler and leave. Oh, maybe not. No, picks up, only loses a couple of Marines there. And thus starts the drops.
I'm sure I'll jinx it by saying this, but this has been like smooth FPS since I stopped talking, so I'm just going to keep leaving it to you.
So keep solo casting?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like, I want to contribute, but like, it's... I feel like the second I start talking, it's probably going to start lagging all over the place again.
I don't know, man. I
Are
don't know.
you okay solo casting this game? Just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fine. Hold on. Alright, I'm good. Alright then. Are you still gonna observe, or?
Yeah, well, I kind of have to, so it's... trying
Okay,
to.
it's a slideshow, but... Alright, so Fantasy not really able to do a lot with his harassment. These drops aren't really working out. They're getting some like light damage done, cosmetic damage really, but nothing nearly as serious. Thing is though, he's been backing up really nicely behind it. He's still up by 10 supply. He's starting to add in Thors as well as actually Blue Flame Hellions. So he opened up with Widow Mines and is transitioning into Hellbat Thor. It's a very long map, and Hellbats and Thors are kind of, you know, they're kind of slow. Oh, kills a little creep Timber Queen. Yeah, but they're kind of slow, but they're definitely very, very beefy. Armani will have to dedicate a lot of gas into Banelings to take down the army once Fantasy's at like 180, 200. 2-2's also evened up for both players. Medevac drop does get cleaned up, no big deal. You know, Armani's on 4 bases. He's looking rather pretty right here. He's on 79 drones. That's almost perfect. It's one more to make it an even 80. How perfect is that? Fantasy the one supply blocked right now. Not for long, though. He should start pushing out. He's at 160. He should be, you know, up if he wasn't supply blocked. But now's a good time to start pushing out, start scaring Armani into making Banelings. There he goes. Gets all the Widowmines that he had produced originally. He has yet to start... Oh, there's the Hellbat production. There we go. So he has 6 Widowmines right now, and he's just starting on the Hellbats. Pushing forward here, gonna just, of course, clean up. Creep has to be very careful with how he takes the engagement. In fact, Armani... No, almost looked like he was gonna take the engagement, decides not to, just backs off. A lot of creep is going down, but Fantasy being very, you know, very wise in how he deals with this. He's not gonna, you know, entirely commit here. Leaving back the Widowmines, though, would be not necessary at all. Well, he's not, you know, that Widowmines aren't his composition anymore. He is transitioning. They're still really very useful to have. If they do happen to go for that massing style, a couple of Widowmines could be the difference between surviving and, well, just straight up dying.
Vikings on like 9 kills, by the way.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed that thing died, and like the Overlord speed finish, you'd think they wouldn't get any more Overlord kills, but that's all Overlord kills. Upgrades finish up for both players. Armani actually dedicating +2 flyer attack, as well as Burrow. Ooh, might see some burrowed Banelings at some point. Not the best map for it. There's no, like, you know, there's not like a bunch of different pathways and chokes, but could still definitely get some good ones. Sensor Tower is really cool idea. Fantasy doesn't want to be blindsided completely by a Ling counterattack, or of course the Mutas. There's actually a Ling Bling counterattack set up here, but he sees it. He's coming back. He's going to deal with it perfectly fine. Oh, nice shot from the Thor. Wow. Oh, and a bait it too. Sick. I mean, that's a lot of Marines, but still really cool moves. Of course, now Fantasy is alerted to the fact that there are burrowed Banelings. If he was paying attention and such, would be a little more careful about scanning on the edge of creep. Of course, you don't want to burrow Banelings on creep because it's going to be scanned anyways, but just a little off and you'll get some really sick Marine hits. Clean up a lot more creep, and Hellbat drop with a couple of other units, just like I don't know, like a ragtag group of units coming in here. It's going to distract Armani a little bit. Armani's mutas are on the other side of the map, so if Fantasy wants to, he could kind of dedicate a little bit more than he would usually, just being able to pick up. Production is compromised, though. Absolutely no missile turrets, just one in the mineral line. He does surround it, but you know, you got to worry about all this, the supply depots, the reactors. In fact, oh, he's surrounded, but he stopped repairing it. Oh no. Marines coming back, though, and that should be able to clean it up. His army is still looking very, very strong in the middle of the map. Armani, oh, he's starting to pose. He has a lot of Banelings back, going for more Banelings. 16 more. That brings up to a total of what will be, you know, more than 50, I think. Missile turrets at the 4th, which she's doing, or actually still the 3rd. Doing a great job. Takes a couple of mutas down with them, but the big engagement is going down. It has to wrap around this little, like, end piece here. A lot of Banelings, you know, used on a Thor as well, but it looks like it's just going to be too many Banelings. I mean, God, he swamps everything, loses so many Banelings, and in fact, Fantasy can, of course, lift up the remainder of his army with the mutas still trying to attack the main. I'm not, well, I guess what you can just check the resources lost. It's still very, very even. 4,000, 5,000 mineral difference. Actually, Fantasy still ahead in that regard. Armani, while he almost completely swamped that army, had Fantasy not been able to pick up. That was a lot of Banelings in that attack, too. That's kind of that you would hope to be able to counterattack and deal some economic damage as well, instead of just taking down the army. Armani did get up to a high, but this is going on with something that, you know, a lot of Zerg players wouldn't be able to do, but he has 3-3, he has adrenal glands. They're only slightly behind Fantasy's 3-3, honestly. I mean, usually when a Terran player has 3-3, they think they have like a good 2 to 3 minutes. And even then, maybe like 6 minutes if they really weren't that fast on getting in the hive, but Fantasy only with about a minute here to abuse the upgrade lead. I don't know what's happening in the chat.
I don't either, but this Viking's still alive, by the way. Shout out to him. Just camp at the top left corner of the map, man.
Whatever, man. He's good at his job, I guess. Could play hide and seek. You know, Armani's going up to 85 drones. So he's going on to 5 bases, so I suppose he's going to be able to use them. His main, not really quite mined out yet, but getting there, as well as his natural, starting to get low. This is just going into a very, well, it's a much longer game than you'd usually expect. I mean, honestly, TVZs nowadays really don't usually get to the point where the Terran has a 5th base. It's usually, you know, the Baneling attack didn't work, or they lost their 4th to the bio composition. But it is going to be the case.
So I'm gonna try and contribute. I think at this point my superstitions weren't off. It's been about this whole game since with another weird FPS issue again. I do want to stress, guys, it was FPS, not drop frames. I saw some debate going on in the chat about that, but those Broad Banelings once again. Let's see if they get some sick hits. But I bring out the Viking kind of half joking, but at the same time, Armani's done Crazy Overlord to spread again. He could and should start using that Viking to
Oh,
I just missed that.
You get the bear, you know, you barely got it. About 20 Marines went down there. A lot of the mutas, though, not a good trade
trades
for
it out,
Armani.
yeah.
Armani is going up to
Armani's vision,
Ultras.
though. Look at Armani. He's basically got map hacks with this Overlord spread. This is fantastic. He's using the entire minimap. There's no way Fantasy's going to be able to drop anything. He has to fight with one big consolidated force. And like earlier, too many Banelings might just seem to be the case here.
But look at the spread. Look how far he has to go off of creep. He's starting to lose out on the Banelings. He might just have enough. Yeah, he's going to have enough.
These are 3/3
clean
lanes
it
with
up.
adrenal glands. Like, this isn't just your typical 2-2 awkward push. All these medevacs live, and that's like 77 supply, mostly in medevacs.
Well, these ones might not. There we go. There's the boost. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of supply in these medevacs. So they're not being... I mean, of course, medevac healing is always useful, but they're not dropping everywhere as I think Fantasy was expecting. I mean, sometimes we'll see, like, in certain matchups, we'll see, like, I guess TVT is probably the most common, where they expect to lose out on medevacs, so they keep on producing 2 at a time until they have, like, you know, 40, and you're like, oh, wait, maybe I didn't need that many medevacs.
Yeah, because, I mean, lots of medevacs is good, but at a point, it starts taking away from your actual army value. It's like having too many SCVs.
Yeah, and it's also like an argument about like against Roach Hydra, 20 medevacs probably okay. Against Ling Bane, the Banelings are burst damage, not sustained, so
Yeah.
maybe not.
They don't
but,
get a chance to heal. Everything just dies.
Exactly. There's not much healing to be done. But he has finally stopped the medevac production. I would really like... Armani, he replenished the meta count a little bit. I mean, it's back up to 13. But honestly, at this point, a drop not to try and get into the main or bases, but a drop just to clean up the Overlords would probably be worth it. I mean, send 60 Marines and 2 medevacs around the map and clean up all the Overlords.
Rest in peace, Oglaf, or whatever, the Viking, had 10 kills upon his death. You did well, son. You did well.
Did good.
Man, this like conglomerate of Zerglings here on the left side of the map. I mean, there's been one bird here for a while. It's been a nuisance, whatever. He'll be able to scan this and clean it up. But I mean, these aren't Banelings yet, but these could all easily quickly become Banelings. Armani does have a fairly sizable bank behind this, and I kind of like that he unloaded so far. I mean, he really doesn't know where those Mutalisks are is the problem. He's got an idea they were down here because he got a glimpse of them, but that's about it.
Yeah, trying to hide these. He does find the 2 spots that the Overlords do not see, so these Lings are going to try and find them. But, you know, that's a lot of Lings to be, you know, rolling around. Actually, those aren't Lings, those are Banelings.
Those are Banelings. That's actually, this is kind of even worse, though, for Armani Field to have these so far away. Like, if Fantasy sees, like, wow, you've got all your Banelings down here, he can either go trap them, or he can just clean up all the creep in the middle of the map.
Yeah, counterattack at the 5th, though, before it turns... Oh, as it was turning to a planetary... Oh, that was a lot of Banelings. Not bad.
By the way, apparently the chat issue that we had a moment ago, that was Crank hijacking the keyboard. Nice Widowmine hits!
Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
drop
Crank's
in the
keyboard.
4th. I don't know how it got over there without being scouted, but it did kills a queen, it looks like. A couple of Lings also. You know, Fantasy, he has to put a bank where you can recreate that 5th. It wasn't the biggest deal to lose it, but it's just, you know, it's not a case where he's totally rolling in the dough, not like Armani.
You know, the thing is, though, the Ultras transition is going to be scary and all that. He's actually pretty well prepared for it with the amount of Marauders he has, especially with Thors in the mix. But it's that fungal growth I'm really scared of, because we've seen it time in and time out. If you hold the Marauders in place, they can't kite the Ultras, and Marauders holding position versus Ultras, not that good.
Widowmine's getting some really great hits.
Yeah, they clear up a lot of the Lings, which is really important.
Into the center tower, which is probably the best thing you can target if you know you're going to leave soon. The Ultra transition is really scary just because I feel like once you transition to Ultras, that's really where Fantasy can start dropping and abusing. I mean, the mutas are still out. Armani was very mindful of keeping them at a pretty decent count despite losing a couple of them earlier on, but you seem to get lazier about dealing with drops once you go to Ultras. Or maybe it's that Terran gets more aware of it, I'm not sure, but...
Ooh, that's actually a bad amount of Widowmine, but that one good Widowmine makes up for it all as it takes out 12 Banelings.
Oh, these ones! Oh!
Oh, so good. Takes out almost all the Banelings at this point. Now it's mostly just the Ultras, and man, does Fantasy have enough bio to deal with this.
Yeah, he does. Oh, the transition to back into Widowmines. You know, he was using Hellbats for quite a while, and I never really noticed, but he had gone back into Widowmine production. In fact, 5 at a time. Wow.
That's insane.
Why is it not 6? Isn't that... No, that makes sense. Never mind. That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm a little bit scared though, because okay, you know, I kind of talked about the fungal growth a moment ago, but like, can you imagine the fungal growth going down with like 11 Widowmines splash damaging all the Marines because there's like 3 Zerglings on top of them? I mean, it's...
Yeah, you kill all the Banelings, but you kill your own army too.
Exactly. I mean, these Widowmines have been getting some good hits now, but these could actually be very bad. Like, the friendly fire is a very real problem that we often joke about, but I mean, it's a pretty serious issue.
Yeah, we should raise more awareness of this.
I know, it's like, you know, Halloween they got UNICEF. We need like something for like friendly fire for Terran. Just like door to door collecting pennies.
Yeah. Oh, he was gonna try and break down those rocks. That would have been so cool.
Yeah, that would have actually zoned these out and given him more than enough time to snipe off that hatchery, but not gonna happen just yet. Widowmines are here.
Medevacs do catch the one drop Fantasy had tied up here. The Widowmines don't get the same kind of hits they did before.
They're still pretty good, though. Still pretty good. There's more Widowmines behind this, but Fungal Growth starting to catch some of this army. The Ultralisk, those Kaiser Blades. As long as they connect, they're going to deal some damage. But out of juice for the Fungals. Will these transfuses be enough?
Oh, these Widowmines! Oh my god, the Widowmines are doing so much damage.
Yeah, they snipe off one of the Ultras really nicely there.
You know, the Mutas could take on that army. There's only 2 Marines.
Yeah, that's true. And the Widowmines are all on cooldown. Ooh, that's a bit awkward. He's producing so many Marauders at this point. I think he kind of forgot about the Marines being a necessity. Because, of course, they're kind of useless versus the Ultras, but really necessary versus the Mutas.
Yeah. And Armani, I love that he is so mindful about not letting his Muta count get really low. I mean, it's down at 10, which is still pretty good because you're only using the cleanup drop at this point. But, I mean, 16 and suddenly Fantasy, you know, never tries to load up and leave. You know, he knows that the Medevacs are going to die. With 10, that's not really all that much damage. And, in fact, I didn't notice this, but he got +3 fire attacks in those, man. Like, jeez, they're actually pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate late game here for Armani. The only way I can really see him losing this, like, I mean like a throw lose, would be like if he dedicates too much to one thing. The one thing I enjoy is like his army is really nicely diversified. There's a couple of Mutas for harass. He's still got a lot of Banelings mixed in with the Ultras, and of course those fungal growths. But that's when you lose the game, when you just go like pure Ultra or just pure fungal growths. And ooh, Widowmines get some good shots off.
Yeah, very nicely hidden Widowmines there. Now, it's important to note that while Fantasy, it seems to be down by 40 supply, 32 of that is in workers. The armies are still very similar, and Ultra armies just have a way of looking even worse than the army supply indicates sometimes. You know, if the Queens are lagging behind, if the Fungals aren't there, suddenly they just don't look very powerful at all.
Fungal catches this army, but it's not going to get a whole lot done. Widowmines, though, oh, if they have focus fire on that drone transfer, that would have been sick, but just picks up on the high ground to unload over here.
Yeah. Again, it's only 4 Marauders, so the Medevacs are going to be taken care of from the Mutas.
Yeah. Very awkward watching. It takes like 15 shots to kill a drone from a Marauder. Like, what?
At this point, Fantasy wants to clear up the Overlords, not just so he can start doing drops, but so he can take another base. He's run out of the safe bases, you know, the ones that you're almost guaranteed to get on this base.
Well, there's actually not a lot of creep blocking going on. Like, the Overlord spread on the center is fantastic, but...
Yeah, they could all be spreading creep right now.
This minefield is so scary to kite through.
Jeez. But there's a lack of Marines. So every single time, like, I see this, I'm like, the Mutas can clean this up.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting some decent shots here on the Ultras, but Fantasy's starting to just run out of units again.
He's got to pick up and boost back to home.
Yeah, he might try to get an Ultras before doing so. I think he can, but there's so many Mutalisks here. It's just a scary situation. Like, you're going to lose pretty much everything anyways, and... Oh, that Medevac...
Should have saved! Oh my god! Those Medevacs.
So very barely gets the safety.
Woo.
But you know, we talked earlier about how he had too many Medevacs. Now he's got like almost none is the problem.
Yeah, but he has started, you know, he's producing them every cycle. You know, he hasn't forgotten about them, which any worse player definitely would have. They would have been like, why am I not winning? Oh, right, no Medevacs.
So Armani having base control is really giving this big edge in this game. This situation where he's able to just start throwing units away. Like, he doesn't have that 5k, 6k bank we're used to seeing out of Zerg players here in the late game, but it's because he's been spending it all on units and trading out. Now, he's not been trading out technically cost effectively, but I still think he's coming out of these engagements pretty darn good, taking out a lot of the critical units like those Medevacs.
I feel like the Widowmines are really what's giving Fantasy a chance here. The Widowmine build just constantly.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, you could also make the argument that they're almost playing against him because they're not, you know, they're not exactly the single most effective thing here. And there's a lot of instances where like the Mutas are like, yo, where are the Marines at? Where's the Thors at?
Well, yeah, the lack of Marines is really, you know, always seems to be biting Fantasy in the butt. But Widowmines are very good against the composition that is being thrown out here from Armani. Unfortunately, the 5th base just did not have enough missile turrets. Definitely would have been worthwhile to give, you know, put up 4, 5 more even to keep that alive because now he's back down to just, well, really 2 bases. Well, really 1.
He's gonna have to start floating command centers around too because he doesn't have the excess of them, right? Like, normally you see a Terran player with like 7 orbitals and that really awesome comfort zone, but not the case for Fantasy. So he's gonna have to start transitioning some pretty important orbitals around.
Yeah, it is important to note that Armani really has not been focusing on the bottom right. He knew that Fantasy was taking the base to the left, so maybe he'll be able to get away with the Planetary Fortress for a lot longer than the other bases he's had.
Fungal growth goes down and locks those medevacs into death. Meanwhile, the reminder goes that this is still game number 1, guys, and no Swarmos have been made. Ugh. Fantastic back and forth here in the late game TVZ. Both players just like playing fantastically.
Oh, it could have been death. Oh, I got those Overseer in there.
Yeah, this is an Overseer. Every Mutalist dies guaranteed. Miscontrol, every Mutalist dies guaranteed. But again, Armani's playing this out so freaking well. And Armani's probably like the least known Samsung Galaxy player. But he's really, I mean, if you've been on Base Rate TV since the Zotac Cups, you know this guy's good. You know he's worth watching. And he's putting up a fantastic fight versus Fantasy, where you consider True got absolutely swamped by this guy. Like, it wasn't even close. But this game has been really back and forth. Ultra's coming on top of that minefield once again, though. Yeah, you should just mine. It's like
there's 14 mines.
I watched the mines go off, and it reminds me of like a robo punch from like a Japanese robot or something. Just like special attack, mine punch. But even though the fact that these did a lot of damage, Fungal Growth's gonna lock us down, and Ultras will clean up this army once again, but not before losing a good chunk of the Ultras.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if I actually get one more, she's gonna get one more. Oh, no. 13 health.
That fight went way too good for Armani, though. And Fantasy having just been, cut down the 4 bases continuously. In fact,
oh my God, his gas.
Orbital.
He never rebuilt these gases? I mean, he's like taking one on a refinery that's like halfway expired because he has to. GG. All right, Armani takes